All right, I'm back. Let's get rolling. They literally at 1 o'clock, the fire alarm went off. We'll survive. I'm back. Just the flashing light. It was a false alarm. I don't know who did what. Who cares? Moving on. First thing, absent-minded professor, as it's called sometimes. The lecture from last week or from Tuesday, I didn't upload it. I forgot to upload it. And then I tried to upload it right now, and then it got stuck in the system. I'll upload it like immediately after this. I have a note written. It's not the first time I've spaced on this. Sometimes I get called away, and then I forget when I come back that I didn't upload the video for people who need to watch the video. But if you're here, you know what's going on, don't you? All right, so I'll get that uploaded along with this one. And we are in week 8. And week 8, part 1, and then week 8, part 2 is next week, Tuesday. As we are in the final phase, I won't hold a lecture. I'll let you students have that time. Everything is due on the 20th. Let me just double check that day. I may change it. I don't think it will. It's the day I want it to be. Yes. So everything is due on the 20th here. Get it done. Excuse me. Wednesday and Thursday, there's no classes. It's MATC days, as I call it. It's in service for us. We'll have high school students coming through to tell them about programs, working on other developments within the college. And that's what happens on those days. And it's day fillers, actually, because they need to have a calendar in which there's 16 consecutive days of a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if there's a federal holiday, then we have to, say a federal holiday is on a Tuesday, we have to make up that Tuesday somewhere else, or they adjust the schedule and have these MATC days. That was way too much information, but that's why it happens like that. That's why we have these staggeredness, and that's partially why they have these in-service days. Is there's no national holiday on a Wednesday or Thursday, so we get together as faculty and do other things to help the college out. Enough of that. So absent-minded professor will upload the video from Tuesday right after this, along with this video. If you're watching it now, you've already known that. All right, so next week, Tuesday, we do not need to meet. As it is the 4th phase, that's just you finishing up. I'm going to go over these 2 quickie tech things here, and then I'm going to show you real quick. I think probably the hardest part of the mock-ups is the tent top, but it should be super easy and super simple. And I'm just going to show you quickly how to do it. All the parts and pieces that are due. I've been checking. I have an advisory committee. This is the wrong time. Advisory committee tonight, but I'll be back working tomorrow, checking everything as it needs to go. So I actually got to write that note that I see there that Exploring Brands is not due at that time, but it is due at midnight. So let's fix that. Just got to get my notes up. Fix time. All right. Now, 2 important things. First one, spell check. Really? Yeah, spell check. They're available in every program. Spell check. Here's why. You're kind of in charge of spell checking. I notice it sometimes. I'm not the greatest speller in the world. But if you start to do portfolio pieces and start develop portfolio pieces and you have misspellings in it, that's an immediate nope to prospective employers. Reason being is if this is the cream of the crop work that you're presenting us, there shouldn't be any misspellings. It should be spelled correctly. There are 1,000 ways to check your spellings. check your grammar, check everything. I know I have you do these small things, and I've been now trying to include a lot of the text. But even on these short one-offs that I really love, I think, these are like small pieces that showcase like quick design skills, which I think are very promising. You got to check your spelling. It should be spelled perfectly. In InDesign or in Illustrator, it's Control or Command I. You can go up to the top and check the spelling. In Photoshop, you go to Edit and check spelling. I don't know why you would really be typesetting in Photoshop, as it is not something I ever do. And if you're doing something really funky in Photoshop and it's a title treatment and you spell it wrong because you wanted neon, like, oh, that's a big mistake. So check your spelling. Here's the other part. When you're writing when you're writing something small, write it out. And if you're more comfortable, write it in Google Docs or Microsoft Word and have it check the word count. Have it check your spelling. And you know what I do for my work? I then take my information and I place it into ChatGPT and say, can you make this sound better? So I'm not using, or you can use Gemini. I am not using those programs to write it for me. I use those programs to take what I've written and to make it better. And that's a perfect way of doing it. I don't have somebody that bounces off of. I don't have a copywriter, and I am not a good copywriter. But I can type out, type out all about Paul Ashure and check that stuff and get some stuff from a couple websites, and then take it and put it in ChatGPT and say, make this. I literally put in, I'm a graphic design professor. Can you make this sound better? And it'll just spit it right back to me, but it'll correct everything and make it sound good. So use those tools. But as I said, you have to start it. That's where like this whole plagiarism, using AI in a not good way is like, you write it first and then just have it correct it. That's the best way to use this stuff. That's how I use it weekly for making my work sound better. All your assignments have gone through ChatGPT to elevate how they sound. Because I type as I speak, and without inflection, without the pauses, without anything, it doesn't sound right once you read it. And so I just send it through there, like, make this sound as clear as possible, and it bullet point stuff, and it does all that for me. So use it, but always check your spelling. It's embarrassing to show your work to somebody else and then to have them see a misspelling, like, oops, like it's, I was thinking about earlier, like how to kind of present this. And for spelling, it's a little bit of like, it's not cute anymore, like we're college level. So like, oopsie, there was a spelling. It's more like, oh, crud. I missed it. Now I have to go back and fix it. And then I've already presented this, or I've already shown it off. I gave it to somebody else and it's got a misspelling in it, and it's going to come back to me. So spelling is pretty huge, but it's integrated into all the programs. Every program these days has a spell check. Turn it on, use it. Have that thing, like you can have it set up so it like underlines the words. It's kind of irritating, but at least you're seeing, just like in Microsoft Word, it's underlining it in red, or in Google Docs, like it underlines the misspellings. And then you go through and check spelling. Yes, it may take some time in InDesign or Illustrator if you have a lot of like soft returns and stuff like that, because it keeps saying like, should this be capitalized? Should this be capitalized? And you're like, no. But guess what? At least everything's spelled correctly. So that's a big one right there. Please double check your spelling every day. Like you wouldn't turn in an English paper without having the spell check, right? You shouldn't do that here either. Everything in the college level should be spell checked. So that's how you do it. I mean, but like I said, I like to type in a different program and then bring it in. I just don't like to type in like Illustrator or InDesign. Like if typing directly into there, I can move things around in a dumb Word document easier, and then get it finalized and then bring it in. Again, like it's a little bit, I think I talked about this in the lecture Tuesday, is like making sure you really know how to use all your programs together, use each program to the best of its ability and where you need to. So if I'm going to write something, I'm going to write in Google Word first or Google Docs first, then have it checked maybe with Gemini or ChatGPT, make it sound as good as it can, and then copy and paste that out and then use that. So it's a couple step process, but why not make it sound profesh? You know what I'm saying? I'll never say that line again. Make it sound profesh. All right. The other one I want to talk about is, of course, too many fonts. I think I want to start reining this back on the old, every designer needs to know as well. It's fun to experiment. It's really good to try that, but you can't overly experiment, especially, like when we're working on the big campaigns, the brand campaigns. You can't have like this font, then that font, then a different font and another font, because you're like, well, my logo is in this font, and then the body copy is going to be here, and then I'm gonna have titles in here, and then I'm gonna have the date in a different font, and it's too much, and it becomes too scattered, and it's no longer cohesive as a piece. So that's why we restrict. It should be restricted. You should restrict yourself to no more than 3 fonts. Now that's fonts, not font family. So if I pick a good font and they're out there, and okay, where they're not is DaFont. So if you're like, I go to DaFont for all of them, like, again, start using the Adobe fonts. I think it's with your student account. If it's not, somebody tell me that it's not with the student account, where you can kind of like go in and browse more fonts. Of course, you got to sign in. And then you can look. And when it says 10 fonts, 3 fonts, 10 fonts, that means that they are offering this font in several styles. So Ivy Mode, I'm just going to look at it. And Ivy Mode comes in 10 different styles. And then so it's bold, bold italic, semi-bold, semi-bold italic, regular, regular italic. Great. This is enough. This is a family. This is one set. But then when you use this, isn't that nice? It's all together. They all look the same. So title treatment could be, this. And regular type is in regular. Then maybe, the rules are done in thin. Like you start to just use like one that has many options rather than 10 different fonts, because I want this word emphasized or this word emphasized. Like it becomes too much. It becomes too much to look at. I know we're having fun with everybody wants to know, everybody needs to know stuff, but even there, like challenge yourself to use less. It is less is more kind of situation, or there is KISS. Keep it simple, student. How can you simplify your designs? If you do it once, what can you do to remove everything that's not needed? Working with I can't remember where I heard this. It's from like a fantastic designer out there. And it's, not from the 10 rules of typography or when design and how to break them. It was another professional designer, and they were talking about design in general. And they say you create your design, close it out, take a break, come back to it, open it back up, and now look at it and remove everything that is not needed from the design. And it means like really look at it. Like once you're done, really look at it. Like, and a lot of it is like, if you added one drop shadow somewhere, then remove it. If you added one, for some reason you threw in a handwritten font like this, doesn't need to be there, then you go in and you remove it. you don't remove the text. You just change it to a font that matches what you're using. So that's the big one. And I do that for myself. I go in and I'll do a design, and then I'll come back and be like, okay, let's take a look at it. Like, oh yeah, I don't need to do that effect. I don't need to add that. Like, the simpler you can make it, the clearer it is to read, and the clearer it is to communicate. And I'm not trying to take out the fun. You saw my craziness of the, dripping ice cream font and stuff. It can still be crazy, but even looking at that and thinking of it in my head, I'm like, do I need the outline on the posters, like, to signify that, or should that just be part of the logo only? And then I can remove those. It's not needed. We can move on from those. So really look into how and why you're using the fonts you're using. Limit it to 3 different fonts. You could go crazy, but just on different things. And when I say, and this is for a campaign, this isn't per piece. This isn't like, I'm gonna use 3 fonts here, 3 fonts there, 3 fonts over there. No, per piece, like per campaign. Excuse me. Like, once you do that first poster, don't change anything. Don't add new fonts. Well, I'm gonna add a new font for the sandwich boards. No, there's no reason to add a new font for the sandwich boards. You have enough fonts in the poster. Use something there. People are going to understand it and they want to read, and we want cohesiveness across the board when it comes to using typefaces and fonts. So those are the 2 quick lectures. Let's open up this bad boy. Oh, I need to open in Photoshop. This is, I don't know how often everybody's using the old Photoshoppy. Let's do this. Now, all I'm going to do for me is I'm going to screenshot. What do you mean? Just screenshot. I zoom in and screenshot. You can export, but a lot of times I'll just go in and screenshot it. I'm going to get real big. I only need one side. All of mine are the same. I'm making sure these dotted lines are not on this one. See that, making sure that that's gone, and do it step by step. Don't try to do everything at once. So I'm going to do the screenshot for this lower part. Boop, boop. And then open up this, and then to go to File, Open. Oh, you can do now? I've found this is maybe easier. I place embedded now. It removes the step, and I didn't always do that. Yeah, it's brand new to me. We're always learning, eh? And then I go to screenshots. And date added today, 11/22 or 1/22. Place. Boop. All right. And I'm just going to double click on it. It sets it. I'm going to make a copy of it, right? Turn one off. Make sure I'm on the one that's visible. And then I'm going to go to, I might have to change it. Edit, transform, distort. And I use distort. Distort's my favorite one. And all I'm doing is matching those corners. And you zoom in if you need to. Use that space bar. Make sure there's no blue showing. It's just a mock-up. There you go. One side done. Open up this one. Edit, transform, distort. And I'm just following, it's there. Just match it. Space bar. Use that space bar. Be using all your key commands and space bars to make your life easier. I push it so much in early design, and I hope you guys are doing it. But like my hand, I actually have a special shortcut keypad, so I don't have to do doubles. You program it to do all your shortcuts. I use it because I go from different computers throughout my day, generally 3 different computers, one PC, two are Macs, but it's so I don't have to remember anything in I just know what it's programmed at, and I can just do copy paste, do all that kind of stuff. All right, those are looking good. Let's get the top on there. The most difficult part. This is difficult. It's not difficult. It's not. It's going to take you more than like a second. So screenshot it. I'm going to get across the bottom because we have to go in and delete items. All right, there's the screenshot. I'm going to do file, play, that's his Illustrator, file, place embedded. There it is, place. This is a great size. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to take just the polygon lasso tool. It's my favorite, just because this doesn't have to be supersonic accurate. I just want to get rid of like that little black line or any like noticeable artifacts. Delete. Okay. Oh, okay. So I can't delete because it's a place object. So all you have to do is right click, and I want to convert to smart object. I want to convert it to not layers. Image. Oh, layers. Why isn't it allowing me? I want to do the rasterize it. Oh, rasterize down here. Rasterize just takes it off the smart object system. Smart objects have a better job of retaining their pixelability, but you can't delete stuff like this. So in certain points it works, in certain points it doesn't. Again, just like everybody else, the more you do it, the more you remember where it is. I don't do this often where I'm like making mock-ups, but I knew I had to rasterize it. That's the simple part. And then you just take a minute to find it. Gonna go back here again and then delete this. Now there's two. So I'm gonna deselect. I'm gonna make sure I make a copy of that, turn that off. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing. File, edit, and I'm gonna do distort. And then I will probably warp after I distort. And I'm just going to, again, matching areas and getting things to just flow to where they need to flow. I don't even think I'll pull that anymore. But see what happens. Like this looks good. Oh no, this doesn't look good. So without, I just want to keep like bringing these. I want to like get that a little bit better. So I'm going to go to edit. Like I haven't said okay, right? That's the big one. I haven't said okay. So I should be able to go to edit, transform, and warp. And then I can kind of pull these. And that's what I wanted to do. Gonna like pull these around and get them to fulfill a little bit better, or as best as you can. And there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. Like that gives an idea. The perspective's a little bit off, but it gives an idea. But that big thing that I did is don't hit OK on the transform until you're fully done. That gives you way more options. So again, edit, transform, distort. Just going to start bringing things closer. Boop. hit the start, right? That's all we're going for. And then edit. I didn't undo anything, transform. Let's go to warp and see if we can pull things and make it look better. There you go. Zoom out. There you go. You know, it's on there. The thing is this a mock-up, and I do have the flat files to show the client as well. And I will go in and right here, that's irritating. So I just take a color. There it is. It could just be that color and a brush on a new layer. Oh, that's not that big. Color it in. Zoom back out. There you go. Nobody's wiser with this. It's mock up. It looks good. Sidewalls, don't do the reversal, right? I mean, super easy. This sidewall, you make it. Oh, I'll do the back wall. So you learn how to get it correct. This will be the last. I won't. Let's do the back wall. I'll do this. Turn off all the crap we don't need. So if I do this and it turns off everything, just pull some guides. I'm just going to pull guides. You need to see what I'm doing. And whether. And then I'll turn off that part. Nope, that season. So just that square screenshot. There we go. File. Place embedded. There it is. Place. And all I'm going to do is the same thing. Transform, distort, edit, transform, distort. I'm going to have to convert this because I'm going to have to delete some stuff. But here you go. Like, I'm just following like where the tent is. Front corner is there. This one, make an imaginary line. Like, where would it come to? It's going to come straight down. And if this goes and keeps going straight, it's about to here. I want that bar showing, the pole. All right, and I just hit OK on that, and I need to delete that bottom part. So let's try to see if rasterize. There, rasterize layer. That's what I was looking for last time. Boom, rasterize that layer. Unsure of where to cut it. Let's do this to 50. Little see-through action there. Grab that little polygon lasso. I'll tell you my favorite tool in Photoshop. Or you can put the other one right on top of it. That's even easier. Bring that back to 100. And there's the back wall. So, and then, you know, sidewall and other sidewall just gets, you just mask off the areas that you don't need. So that's the big one. Teach you how to do that tent tops. It's kind of weird. There you go. So I will leave a note about the no lecture on Tuesday for you all. Finish stuff up. use that little break time, take a relaxer. Things won't start up, like the new project will be like in the following week. Enjoy, like don't sit on this stuff, get it done. Hopefully use this, because then we have like a spring break coming up in a few weeks as well. And I don't assign more homework over the spring break, like it's time off. So use it wisely, get done, give yourself a break, at least from me and my classes. And yeah, that's it. So I'm around to answer all your questions, comments, and concerns. Even next week, like even if we're not meeting, you can text me, email me, and get a hold of me to answer any questions that you have. Just that we just have this in-service days. So, all right, cool. Any questions? All right, wonderful. I'm going to get this posted. I'm going to get the other one posted, and I will see you on the discussion boards, and looking forward to seeing some of this final Street Festival design work. All right, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.